Hi guys, it is Alex Angel. How you guys doing? I'm just gonna wait. I normally wait like maybe about 30 to 60 seconds for people to join before starting this session, but I'm really excited about this session tonight because it's all about our funky love and relationships and how that pesky little law of attraction kind of gets us every time. So I have some really good information. Okay, well, I am going to get started. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Alex Angel, and I am the founder of A+Earth. I created A+Earth to share everything that I know about spirituality and all of my spiritual knowledge with you all and teach you the skills to help you live a most positive and healthy life. On our website at A+Earth.com, I created a series of blogs to provide you with tips and tricks on how to live your best life. Those blogs include Life 101, Law of Attraction, and the newly popular Law of Attraction in Love and Relationships, which is what we'll be covering tonight. So just a little recap. In Life 101, we learned about what life is, why we're here, and what's it all about. And the answer is pretty easy. Basically, we are here to grow and evolve as spiritual or energy beings. Because in life, basically, we are faced with several, numerous, sometimes way too many challenges that are basically designed to help us grow as spirits. Okay? So that was Life 101. In Law of Attraction 101, we basically covered what Law of Attraction is, how it works, and how to successfully launch Law of Attraction requests. Okay? So tonight, for Law of Attraction in Love and Relationships, this one is a doozy, right? Because we're looking at how Law of Attraction uses your relationships to basically show you everything that's going on inside of you. Okay? And by the way, this affects all relationships, whether they are personal, family, or business, whether they are heterosexual relationships, homosexual relationships, monogamous, open, polyamorous, or polygamous relationships. Just any kind of relationship that you are in, the pesky little Law of Attraction is going to show you basically a beautiful or not so beautiful version of yourself. Okay? Now, oftentimes when we do get in relationships, especially personal relationships, we try to correct or control the other person to basically suit our needs. We also do this a lot of times so we can remain nicely nestled in our comfort zones. Okay? That ain't how Law of Attraction work. You ain't never going to evolve from sitting in your comfort zone, okay? But realistically, when we are in these relationships, we are neglecting the two most important relationships of your eternal lifetime. First, your relationship with God, and then your relationship with yourself. I promise you, if you develop these relationships, knowing that Law of Attraction is working, whether you believe it or not, you will start to see what's going on inside of you reflected outside of you as well. Okay? So if any of this sounds familiar or too close for comfort, I think it's time to maybe take a deep dive inside to see what's going on inside of you. So if you're currently in a relationship, or you keep attracting the same person, chances are law of attraction is showing that there's something inside of you that's broken, that's desperately needing to be fixed or healed. Now, such negative relationships include people who don't want to commit, people who you can't trust, people who are dishonest, and in the worst cases, people who are mentally, physically, or emotionally abusive. Okay? In this week's blog on A+Earth.com, I wrote about, or I gave you kind of two examples or two individuals in a personal relationship to kind of show you how law of attraction, especially will use the opposites attract, basically to get each individual within the relationship to heal. And by the way, it always is both individuals. Like, nobody's perfect, so you won't find somebody who is perfect for you and you're still needing healing to do. Okay? So those examples included, and are not gender specific, by the way. I see these in both men and women. Okay? Those people include person A, right? Maybe someone who is suffering from abandonment, right? And they basically need a consistent source of love in their lives. Well, mentally, inside of a relationship, this person is maybe investigative. They may be accusatory and defensive. And by the way, these are just general characteristics. These are, not specific to anyone, and they won't be the same all the time. Psychologically, this person may be controlling, possessive, and demanding. Emotionally, they may complain, brood, and sulk a lot. Okay? Their evolutionary lesson is that they need to heal from the fear of love leaving them again. Okay? Now remember, person A is suffering from abandonment. Well, who are they going to attract? Perhaps someone who is insecure, right? The person where, attraction and closeness is uncomfortable, right? So for the person who is insecure, right, person B, they have mental traits of being evasive, right? If person A is investigative, accusatory, and defensive, then yeah, person B is going to be wishy-washy. They're going to be, undecided and confusing, right? They're not going to be clear, okay? Those are their mental traits. Psychologically, they play mind games. We know how beautiful those are. They are attention whores. They love attention and they need attention. Attention is more and better than food. And by the way, they also they'll take any kind of attention, whether it's negative attention or not. And the ever so popular people who are insecure are usually passive aggressive. Now, also keep in mind, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not trying to be a psychologist. I'm not claiming that in any way, shape, or form. I'm just offering my experiences, okay? So in continuing on with person B, who is insecure, we covered mental and psychological. Emotionally, this person, because they crave attention, they're also very, very dramatic, okay? So for person B, the one who is insecure, their evolutionary lesson, because they feel lesser, they need to know that love won't hurt them again. So here you have, again, on one side where you have somebody who is desperately in need of love, but then on the other side, you have somebody who is afraid like hell of love. And yeah, I've seen it. Those two people will get together. I only get to talk to one of them, right? But normally the one who I talk to, again, will kind of display one of these traits. They want the other person to act right and get it and heal and fix themselves. But at the end of the day, law of attraction is saying, nope, we didn't bring that person in your life for you to fix them. We brought that person in your life for you to fix you. Okay? So law of attraction says this: it is up to you what you do with your pain. We will keep bringing you examples so you can either learn from them and heal, or you can continue to be hurt by them and go through this over and over again. How many of us have experienced that, where we keep failing the same lesson over and over, and we start to become like crazy people where we're like, why is this not working? Okay? Now, the services that we offer are to help you basically cleanse out, clear out these type of negative bat signals, if you will, so you can attract more positive experiences in your life. Now, today we're concentrating, of course, on love and relationships, right? But law of attraction, again, works all throughout your life. And just as I mentioned, it's not necessarily your personal relationships, but it's also family and business as well. So if you're having issues with a coworker and this coworker is a mean, nasty bitch, then I will say to you, does that mean, nasty bitch live inside of you? Just a question, no judgment. But anyway, those are the services that A Positive Earth offers, basically to help you kind of zero in on what the issue is. We will help clear away and help you to clear away what that deep underlying pain is. We'll replace it with some good spiritual juices using, information from God and angels. And then basically we will help you kind of recondition yourself, rewire or repair yourself so that you don't exhibit the same behavior over and over. And by the way, once that trauma is cleared, once that pain is cleared, you would have to be a freaking magician to kind of resort and revert back to old behavior. Because once it's clear, it's gone. And so is all of the negative behavior that goes along with it. And you see instant results when it comes to the type of people that you start attracting. Okay? Also in this blog series, I wanted to also make a special announcement that in addition to, say for instance, the Facebook live streams, we will have upcoming events, live seminars in the Atlanta area. And once we actually start growing, we will span that out to other areas within the U.S. So please check the Facebook page, A Positive Earth's Facebook page, but then also you can check apositiveearth.com for those updates. So now that we have talked about generic issues that possibly cause the generic issues and possible causes, let's talk all about your love and relationships. So I will open the floor now for your questions. What questions do you guys have for me? And just keep in mind that there is a bit of a delay. So if you're typing your questions in, it may be a delay for me answering them. They have all these weird, oh no. Okay, I think you guys are still out there. Okay, we do have a question. Is everyone in your life you feel love for there for a purpose, to teach you something? Great question. The answer is yes. Depending on what you have gone through in your childhood or previous experiences, any pain that you have gone through in your life, The people who you are attracted, again, are going to be there to help you heal from that pain, and also to help love you at the same time as you may be going through the healing process. So as an example, if you're someone who's younger female, or you're a female and when you were younger you were abandoned by your dad, as one of these examples were, then you are going to attract, unfortunately, until you heal, you are going to attract men either who threaten to leave you or are constantly leaving you, or leaving doesn't always necessarily mean a physical departure, but it could also mean that they are not emotionally available as well. So, I'm sorry, I'm just rereading your question to make sure I answer the question. I don't think that you feel love as a result of an experience. I think that's very natural. I think that's, love is a byproduct that a connection is available. But are they there for a purpose? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope I answered your question. If that's, let me know if I answered your question or if you have a follow-up. And again, for anybody else who is joining us live, I am Alex Angel, and we are talking tonight about law of attraction in your love and relationships. Not necessarily personal again, but personal, family, business, just all kinds of relationship. We talked about just briefly how law of attraction uses people to show you what's really going on inside of yourself for the purpose of helping you heal. So for those of you who were joining thinking that I had some tips, tricks, and secrets on how to attract the best relationship, absolutely I have all the tips, tricks, and secrets. Clean out yourself, work on yourself, build yourself. The universe will give you back yourself. So whoever you're attracting, again, is just a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So keep those questions coming. Does anybody have any additional questions? This is your chance, for me to basically answer those questions. Also, at the same time, because of my clairvoyance, my angels are always kind of hovering. So, one of them may pop through and kind of give you some angelic, godly advice tonight. So, any additional questions? Come on, don't be shy. Nope, I don't see anything yet. Come on. I know everybody out there is not in the perfect relationship, okay? Don't be shy. You have a man, he comes home every night. He's a good man. He pays all the bills. But guess what? He comes home every night. He's boring. Y'all don't go out anywhere. And you're stuck in a rut, okay? Again, looking at that, say, for instance, from a law of attraction standpoint, what is going on inside of you? What is the desire? Why'd you attract a boring man? Is there something going on that's boring inside of you? Or, say, for instance, my Southern Belle just kind of popped out, so I apologize for that. But, the other thing, too, is our first example of personal relationships or relating and any of that stuff that we learned, of course, come from inside the household. As we learn or as we see our mother and father relating, if you're unfortunately the type of person who didn't grow up maybe with both parents in the household, then you may see dad or mom relating with other people. So that is where you get your absolute first experiences on love and relationships, right? But also, in addition to that, the second most important relationship that we are often abused or we kind of suffer from are our relationships with our parents as well. And nobody's perfect. This is not a charge against anybody's parents or parenting in general. if for some reason there are not two parents in the household, or there is a trying relationship in the household, sometimes that relationship is reflected upon us as kids. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we ourselves are damaged from one or both parents because of how they're relating to each other. So, I don't know if I know anybody who's had the perfect childhood, and especially me with my, my spiritual gifts. When I start talking to people and I start, getting to know someone, it's quite easy to kind of see and pick up, what issues this person might have had and where exactly, those issues come from. I was dealing or speaking with a guy recently, and I was so excited, to meet this guy, and there was so much excitement there, and a little bit of expectations, kind of hoping for the best. And he was completely needy. Anytime that we talked, he talked mostly about himself. He didn't really ask questions. I mean, it was one of those conversations where you can basically put the phone down and like go fry a batch of chicken. Now I know that sounds bad, but yeah, not only was he only talking about himself, but he was talking a lot about himself. So right off the bat, I was saying to myself, God, you're so needy and you need attention. And from that, again, because of what I do, because of the people I work with over and over, I could tell that there was neglect in his childhood. And now, say, for instance, that he had someone paying attention to him, he was going overboard. And, unfortunately, in those particular situations, you kind of forget that there's another person out there, that you become so self-absorbed with getting what you want and getting what you need that you kind of forget some major things, which is kind of also a part of being in, one of those relationships, again, where there's lack of commitment, lack of trust, dishonesty, or whatever the case is. Because when your needs are not being met, right, you start pulling out all of the passive aggressive, the cheating, the lying, all of this, that, and the other. And I'm not condoning any of that behavior. But again, I do understand that a lot of times people exhibit that behavior because there is a deep hole inside of them that they're so desperately trying to get filled. Okay? So at this point, again, I will pause to see if anyone who is viewing this live stream has questions about either law of attraction or law of attraction in their relationships. As in, why do I keep attracting this same person? I've been married for 3 times, and wife number 1 was like this, and wife number 2 was like this, and they were similar, and it seems like it's a pattern. Well, you're the common denominator, so it can only be one thing. So again, send me your questions about law of attraction or love and relationships. Or if you have any questions in general, I'll take those as well. You got me for another couple of minutes. Use me or lose me. Oh, I actually have a situation, or, something that's coming to me right now. A lot of times, one of the really, really most popular questions that I get all the time is how to effectively launch law of attraction, which we covered in our last live stream. And in our last live stream, we talked about how the universe, through law of attraction, will give you what you asked for. So if you ask for tall, dark, and handsome, it's going to give you tall, dark, and handsome, right? But also what comes with that, which a lot of experts won't tell you, and especially a lot of law of attraction practitioners, is that along with tall, dark, and handsome, again, whatever's going on inside of you, you get a little bit of that too. And then you get a little bit of love, and you get some emotion, and you may get some great sex, and you kind of get, this package deal. But at the end of the day, the most important part is healing if you're broken. Now, if you're not broken, right off into the sunset, more power to you. God bless you. But again, I don't know anybody who's not broken. I think when we we are alive because we're broken. We start so early, kind of recording all of these experiences that hurt us or harm us or, take away from the true light in which we all are, right? So, kind of going back to that example, the universe is going to give you your cherry on top in most situations. Just make sure you ask for a cherry, right? If you ask for like peanuts, you're going to get peanuts. Or if you're not asking for anything, but you're walking around and your bat signal is attracting peanuts, I hope you're an elephant and like peanuts. But anyway, going back to the whole idea about, asking for the tall, dark, and handsome and getting, tall, dark, and handsome who's unemployed or has a crappy relationship with his family or is a criminal, right? Again, the tall, dark, and handsome is the universe saying to you, hey, it's what you asked for. Here you go. Here's a bow on top, right? The other stuff, again, deeply behind it is God saying, hey, baby, I love you. I love everything about you. I love your spirit. I love the way you walk and talk. And your growth means everything to me. So here, take a little bit of this along with your cherry on top and heal from it and grow from it. The next one won't be a cherry. It'll be a steak. Okay. So again, for those of you who are just joining us, hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I am taking all of your either law of attraction questions or your love and relationship questions. This live stream is ending in about 5 minutes. I promised myself for this live stream that I am going to stay on time. So if you have any questions about law of attraction or your love and relationships, please answer those now. Ask those now. Okay? And again, I experience a little bit of a delay, so I will pause and just see if any of those questions are coming through. Yep, we have about 3 minutes to go. So let's go, guys. The other thing I want to tell you too, while those questions are coming in, keep asking, by the way. Keep asking for what you want. If you want tall, dark, and handsome, if you want tall, light, and gorgeous, keep asking, because the universe will answer every last law of attraction request. Now, one of my great clients, gave me the suggestion, which I shared with you guys on our last stream, to basically ask some of those requests at night before you go to sleep. And I am proof that they actually work. And another question I think that came up on our last session for law of attraction specifically was, can you cancel law of attraction? And I am proof that you actually can. I made 2 requests one night before I was going to sleep. And I swear to you, within a day or two, 48 hours did not pass. Okay. And my requests were met. Okay. One was this particular needy person, right? And I simply said to the universe, I don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that lesson. Now, for somebody like me, who's kind of spiritually connected and awake and gifted and, kind of understand the spiritual big picture, I understand, say, for instance, that there was a lesson behind, that particular person. I just chose personally not to go through that lesson with that particular person. I'm all about the learning, baby, because I want to evolve too. Okay. So again, we are approaching the 2-minute mark, I think it is. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer your law of attraction or relationship questions. And I believe we're approaching 7:30. Oh my goodness, I wasn't scrolling. So I'm going to go over. I didn't see some of these questions. The second question is, can you attract a specific person to you? The answer to that question is absolutely. Or just someone to love in general. No. Oh, you mean like if you like Sarah and you want to attract Sarah? No, you can't use law of attraction, say for instance, to attract a specific a specific person. It's kind of called manipulation at that point. So the other thing too is there's such a thing as universal or divine timing. And basically that says that everything happens in its own time. So as an example, if you're looking to attract a particular person and this person is not necessarily say for instance, favoring you or attracted to you right back, keep trying, because again, timing is everything. So it may not be this week, it could be next week. It may not be this month, it could be next month. Okay, so I hope I answered your question. Another question is, how do you know when it's time to give up on someone? If you give up on someone, does that mean you gave up on learning a lesson and it will come back to you in another way? That's a great question. How do you know when it's time to walk away? The answer is real simple, but it's kind of really hard for people a lot of times to abide by. And that basically is when the other person acknowledges that they have changing to do. Okay? So if I'm, with someone and I get called out on being too aggressive, okay? And my aggression is destroying the relationship, okay? Once it is communicated to me that I'm being too aggressive, and I acknowledge that I'm being too aggressive, because denial is a real thing, okay? Once I acknowledge my problem, okay, you have to watch and wait to see if I will do things to make changes, okay? So if I'm a habitual liar and you call me out on it and I said, you know what, you're right, but I continue to be a habitual liar, you got to walk away. You got to walk away. Okay? Because at that point, you're spinning your wheels. At that point, the definition of insanity, which is basically you're doing the same thing but expecting a different outcome, you got to walk away at that point. So thanks for asking that question. You're welcome, Ahmad. Does anybody else, and I apologize, I wasn't scrolling down and it wasn't scrolling for me, but does anybody else have any law of attraction or love and relationship questions? And I will pause and wait and scroll. Okay, I don't see any questions as of yet. I see people who are still joining. So I guess, Miranda, we are running over again today. For those of you who are joining or who are just scrolling by, I am taking your taking your questions about law of attraction and or love and relationships. The other thing I also need to mention too, people say this all the time and it irks the crap out of me, right? It basically is, well, how can you give advice on love and relationships if you're not in a perfect love and relationship, right? And that's my definition of a dumb stupid person. But anyway, the answer is simple, right? Number one, I've been in enough crappy and shitty relationships, okay, to give advice on crappy and shitty relationships, okay? That's number one. The second thing is, I am an earth angel. I'm spiritually gifted. I realize that I've been here before. So this is not my first lifetime, right? And I know it sounds weird. It's not my first lifetime. And not only that, but I receive channeled information. So a lot of the times you're getting real life human experience from Alex, with a sprinkling of angelic wisdom on it as well, right? So that kind of answers that question. How can I teach about something that I have not yet mastered? I have not mastered human relationships yet, right? But also at the same time, I'm human like you. I'm here evolving too. I'm here to help. I'm here to evolve. I'm here to basically share my knowledge and experiences with you all to help you be as successful as possible. Okay? So that's how I can share my pain and my victories, which are now my wisdom. And it's not just real life human wisdom, but it's also angelic and spiritual wisdom as well. Again, for those of you who are just joining, we are taking your questions about law of attraction and love and relationships. And also, just for those of you who are unfamiliar with me, you can learn all about me on A+Earth.com. You know, I am clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and claircognizant, and probably a couple of other clairs that I have not yet discovered. I've been this way for about 20 years right now. I have embraced it as who I am, and honey, I celebrate it. A lot of people tend to think it's the work of the devil, it's negativity. No, it's not. Believe it or not, I'm probably closer to God spiritually and physically than most of you can imagine. But, you know, basically what I'm bringing to the table and how I can help you guys with, you know, achieving happiness, true happiness, soul deep happiness within yourselves first, and then also in your love and relationships. I've been here a couple of times. I've lived life. You know what I mean? I know humans all too well. Okay? So send me your relationship questions for those of you, again, who are just joining. We are running a little over. Don't be shy. You know, we're all family here. Just ask me whatever it is that you want to ask me. Keep it clean, but, you know, ask me your questions, guys. Okay. Angels are in my ear. Where? Wow, that's weird. Okay, a question that the angels actually raised, maybe on behalf of someone out there who's too shy to ask their question. I'm going to ask it for you, I guess. And that basically is there a such thing as happily ever after? Is there a such thing as, you know, soulmates, or, you know, finding that one person for you? The answer to that question is kind of, you know, happily ever after is definitely possible. Finding your perfect mate, not the perfect person, but the person who is perfect for you. Absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. You know, the challenge in most cases is not necessarily just finding that person. The challenge realistically is growing with that person on a spiritual level. Okay? Because, you know, in today's society as humans, you know, we kind of get married, we trade names, you know, we blend accounts and all of that stuff. You know, sometimes we, you know, we'll go to the same church. We may believe in the same things, but I can almost guarantee you 20% of the time, our relationship, or 100% of the time, our relationship with God and what we think of God and what we know of God and how we connect with God and how we build the God inside of ourselves is drastically different. And almost in all cases, you know, you hear a lot of people who break up or who separate or, again, who just grow apart, is simply that, because that's all our universe consists of, is growth. You know, I covered in our last law of attraction session that just the same way that oxygen sustains life, law of attraction basically is how energy interacts with other energy, and it is almost like the breath of the universe. Yeah, by the way, there is no oxygen in the universe, for those of you who don't know. But anyway, it is the way that the universe expands and grows within itself. So a lot of times we tend to think, oh, it's just me, it's just this particular guy, you know, we're gonna, you know, get married and live happily ever after. Realistically speaking, you are contributing not necessarily just to your spiritual evolution or that particular person's spiritual evolution, but the evolution of the entire universe. Okay? So you guys make sure that you know, the next time you decide to get married, or if you're on the way to getting married, make sure that this person is evolutionary sound, because the rest of us depend on it. Realistically. But I'm just kidding. I'm going back to questions. Is it possible to want a forever love? Moved up. Is it possible to want a forever love and it just not be in the cards for you? So in other words, to want something to last forever and it's not in the cards? Oh, that's a hard question. And it's only hard because it's very technical. I may have to, you know, deflate your bubble just a little bit. But our connection with each other is a forever love. You know, point blank period. So the love that you have for your mom or your sister or, you know, your best friend or your husband, Okay, it's a forever love. You know, the technical part of it, right, is what's your definition of forever? And is that the same definition of the universe? That's where it gets sticky. Okay, so to answer your question, kinda, the second part of your question is even if you're trying to attract it, so you're wanting to attract a forever love. Create it. Simple answer. Create it within yourself. Because if you can create it within yourself, you're going to attract it. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. And I'm just going to move on. I've been single for a while now and keep attracting the opposite of what I want. I don't know to forget about finding someone or let them just find me when I least expect it. Oh, I'm there with you. I have that, you know, kind of same thing where I launch law of attraction all the time. And, you know, related to personal relationships, right? Because I'm single, okay? But please understand, I'm happily single, and I'm single by design. I'm not single because I can't get nobody. But anyway, I have that same issue where it's like, okay, well, I keep attracting crap, so should I just give up and just, you know, let the universe come hit me upside the head? And the answer is no, because the universe is not going to hit you upside the head, right? Because basically you are attracting, you have an internal bat signal. You know, you want love, you desire love, so whether you ask for it or not, you're going to attract it. A lot of people tend to think that you physically have to say something or you physically have to think something for law of attraction to work, and that's just not true. The best example that I can give you is if you are a radio station, as an example, and you're dialed into 98.7, right? Then the universe will bring to you somebody who is also dialed into 98.7, right? So if you say forget about it, if the yearning and the desire is in you, if you're locked in, and if you're tuned in, right? Law of attraction is going to attract it to you. So number one, there is no such thing as quote unquote forgetting about it, because you're still, you're still, kind of beaming or attracting or putting that signal out there, right? And then number two, forgetting it or, giving up on it is just basically saying, it's kind of like you're tricking your mind and saying, okay, I'm not going to ask anymore. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to focus on work. But deep down inside, you're still wanting it. You're still yearning it. And again, the universe is going to show up with it all the time. I hope that answers your question. If not, go ahead and send me another one. Okay, moving on. Is there anybody else who has another question? And in the meantime, before doing that, again, more information is coming in. And it's so weird because I know oftentimes, especially when I'm giving readings to people, I know they're kind of curious as to what's going on, how the magic is happening. I now have these group of angels now where the messages like kind of hit me in the face and brush up on me on the face and around my head. So angels are saying to me again to go and focus back on, the happily ever after, because as humans, we want to believe in the happily ever after. And what we're saying to you, especially as angels, is there is nothing but happily ever after, right? The only thing that you guys ever need to do is overcome the human bullshit that was recorded inside of you during the first 8 to 10 years of your life, right? Now, the problem with that, again, is nobody pays attention to the first 8 or 10 years and what happened and the fact that my dad continuously cheated on my mom. And the fact that I keep, attracting people now who keep cheating on me. You know what I mean? Nobody pays attention to that. Nobody connects that. That's, again, where we come in, because we are experts, or I especially am an expert at connecting the dots. So if you want your dots connected, hit us up on A+Earth.com. You can also hit us up on Facebook as well at A+Earth to make any kind of appointments. Okay, going back to questions. I don't see any additional questions. Does anybody have questions about law of attraction, attracting that quote-unquote great love? I tell you, my angels are all in my head tonight because they're like, talk more about that. Attracting great love. What is attracting great love? First and foremost, I saw something I was watching a movie, and it was a mother and daughter having a conversation, and they were talking about Prince Charming, okay? And the mother just gave her daughter just this sage advice in saying, you have to attract your own Prince Charming. You know, she was saying to her, you're not the type of girl who's, you know, waiting for somebody to ride in on a white horse and rescue her. She's like, no, that's not who you are. You need a partner. You need an equal. You know, you need to meet your knight in shining armor versus him coming in and rescuing you too, right? So I thought this was really excellent advice in that, especially here in America. We have that bullshit lie of the American dream, right? Which has continuously been shattered. Because the old American dream used to be husband, wife, house, dog. Now, I know you're waiting for me to tell you what the new American dream is, and I don't have an answer. The American dream is not American anymore. It's whatever you create it to be, right? Because we are a country of immigrants. So America is all of us. It's not, you know, again, this old fairy tale of, you know, this particular successful person, you know, falling in love and us living happily ever after. And we know it's definitely not a man and a woman anymore. It could be two men or two women or one man and three women. And you know what I mean? Relationships are so drastically different, right? But a lot of us, again, grew up with that American dream. We were conditioned to want the American dream, that that's what a successful relationship is to us. And again, if you're in one of these relationships, raise your hand, call me, let me know, because I don't know anybody who has this quote unquote American dream. Basically, you have to create it. Now, the unfortunate thing, which I'm completely going to make a joke about, we all freaking live the American nightmare, right? You know, again, the guy who, you know, we meet and, you know, he's secretly like a freaking bank robber, right? And we don't know, you know, because he's masquerading himself as being the boy next door, the great guy next door. But deep down, he's a freaking, you know, thief. And again, if you're paying attention, I would go back to law of attraction and say, okay, if he's a thief, you know, the last guy, you know, used to steal money from his job or, you know, embezzle money, I would dig back deep into my childhood or into my early experiences and find who was stealing from us, you know, that we are continuously now attracting somebody who, you know, kind of has again this particular behavior. So again, guys, I'm still taking your questions, I guess, for another couple of minutes about law of attraction and love and relationships. And I'm also, I guess, receiving information from angels and taking their questions as well. So I kid you not, I swear if you guys spent a day in the life of being me, it would be the funniest thing that you've ever experienced, because I can be talking and they're basically in my ear now. And then sometimes, you know, I allow some of them to kind of incarnate and take over. So you'll hear me talking in an accent, or you'll hear me talking weird. You know, sometimes they will incarnate. The other thing too is angels, because angels don't speak English, they sometimes have challenges with language, which is where I come in, because I have to basically act as an interpreter. So it's really funny, again, to hear how, you know, certain messages and images that I do receive. And then what the sugar on top is the fact that I'm dyslexic. So whatever it is that they're giving me, I may have challenges with, you know, communicating the right words, but I have some pretty awesome clients out there who can tell you I do a pretty good job. Anyway, guys, send me your questions about law of attraction and love and relationships. I do have a channeled message, by the way, that angels are guaranteeing you all happiness. You know, I think ultimately when we think about the American dream, and we think about, you know, lasting love, and we think about happily ever after, the root of all of that is that we want to be happy and we want to be loved, right? Unfortunately, many of us didn't come into this world in the greatest situations, and we didn't receive, you know, an unlimited amount of lessons on being happy and being loved. I think that's why it's so critical now for you to create that, whatever that means to you. You know what I mean? There are people who love reading, or people who love exploring and traveling and, writing books, reading books and writing books, writing poetry and just things of that nature, blogging and journaling, which is awesome. Law of attraction, again, uses your bat signal, right? And again, your bat signal consists of what you think, how you feel, what your experiences are, right? They're all combined together, which creates your belief system, right? And you set intentions from that belief system. So that's actually, again, your the signal that you're sending out to law of attraction, right? So when you're actually doing these things, the things that you love, I would actually suggest and recommend that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 366 days a year during leap years, to do that, to make yourself happy. Because again, it's almost like if the universe is going to bring you who you are, you have to start with being happy first. And you might as well start practicing those things that make you happy first. Okay? So, a lot of time is, very technical, but a lot of it really is not. At the end of the day, you matter. We grow up in a society where we're not supposed to put ourselves first. Especially as women, we're supposed to put everybody, their mother, their uncle, ahead of us. But what winds up happening is the person that we should be caring about the most is the person that we neglect, and in certain cases abuse the most, which again is ourselves. I am not a religious person, but I am a deeply, deeply spiritually scientific person, which basically says God is inside of all of us. He's not some guy somewhere floating on a cloud sitting in a chair with, little babies blowing trumpets around him singing. That's not my God anyway, okay? My God lives inside of me. My God is the one who I am connected to, who is a part of the grand whole. My God is the definition of Father Richard Rohr's definition of God. And he basically said, God is not a being, God is being, okay? And if you connect the dots again, we are human beings, okay? So we are, using biblical terms, yes, we are in his image, but it's not a physical image, it's an energy image. Okay? And law of attraction and love and relationships and anything you'll ever learn about any universal laws, and by the way, there are 12 of them, all have to do with how energy interacts with other energy within our universe. Okay? So when it comes to you and the energy that lives inside of you, our purpose here at A+ Earth is, number one, to introduce you to that energy, right? To teach you what it is and how it connects to the grand whole, right? And then also teach you how to do what we all are and who we should all be, which is basically connected to one another. I kid you not, when you leave this world, you reconnect, okay? Because all of us in these tiny little pieces in my belief system says we are a part of the whole, okay? And again, that whole is God. It's not a being, it is being. Because in the universe, you kind of can't go out there and just grab, a pocket of universe, because there is no air. It is a feeling, it is emotion. And number one, you're not going out as a human anyway. So while you're here, you may as well, feed that spiritual part of yourself as much as possible. You might as well kind of make the best of it. But getting back to, as an example, putting yourself first, it is that old airport safety tip, when they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you can help anybody else. I live by that. And I'm a mother of two, you know what I mean? I actually take care of myself first, because if I'm all run down and broken down, Lord knows I ain't taking care of nobody else. And especially doing the type of work that I do, when I am run down, it's just open season for negative energy. When I'm negative or I'm at a low, which is negative, the negative energy tends to attract me. I wonder how. I'm not going to tell you. There'll be a test at the end of this live stream. Okay, well, again, just to recap, number one, I thank you guys for joining me tonight for Law of Attraction and how it works in your love and relationships. To summarize, for the people who might have joined late, Law of Attraction is basically using people in your lives to show you what's going on inside of you. To get the perfect relationship, to meet the perfect person, you have to become the perfect person. You can't meet a perfect person and be a shitbag, okay? And not only that, but Law of Attraction, like I said, is real. It's working whether you believe it or not. And if you keep attracting a particular type of person, again, it's because something is broken inside of you that is needing repairing. We are here at A+Earth.com and also A+ Earth on Instagram and also Facebook to help you guys with cleansing, clearing, so you can attract better energy to live a happier, peaceful life. Okay? And just also to special announcements, we are in plans for developing, seminars here in Atlanta first and then around the country. So please stay tuned to A+ Earth on Facebook especially, but also A+Earth.com to get up-to-date information on those particular seminars. And again, for any of you who are existing clients or even potential new clients, just hit me up. If you have questions about, anything that you're dealing with or going through, I'm here to help. I can't get away from it. It is my life purpose. So, just hit me up. I'll do my best to answer any question that you may have and, kind of help you over some hurdles in life that you may be experiencing. Okay? So I'm going to the boards again. I don't see any new questions. Thank you so much, Marsha. You are awesome as well. I'm just kind of going through just to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Okay, I don't see any new questions. So you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm here if you need me. Take care, guys.